Wow, what a few weeks, huh? Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Mindful Addict. Today, we're going to talk about what to do when you're an addict and you can't go to 12-step meetings and, well, you're stuck in your house. Oh, by the way, this is Amos. He's my dog, and since we're all working from home now, and I can actually say that because really it doesn't matter, basically wherever you are, you're probably going to be at home. So, the coronavirus, right? The thing that everybody's talking about. I'm not here to talk about politics about it. I'm here to talk about, as an addict, what we do and how we take care of ourselves and how we nurture our recovery in relationship to all of this that's going on right now. Several things I'm going to talk about today. One is just 12-step meetings. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the 12-step meetings have gone online through Zoom. Reach out through contacts and get links to join through Zoom. And it doesn't matter where you are, you can join a Zoom meeting from anywhere. So if you guys need the links to a Tuesday meeting or a Thursday meeting, I've got some that I can share with you. Just let me know in the comments below, and we'll respond and share those links with you all. Okay? The other thing is, if you don't know of one, start one. You can start your own Zoom meeting. Zoom is free, so there's that. I just want to kind of check off a few boxes here. One thing that some people don't know about me is when I was in high school, I come from a family of emergency medicine people. My father was a captain fireman paramedic. My sister's a nurse. My aunt was a nurse. My mom worked in doctor's office her whole life. So I really grew up in the world of medicine, and especially in emergency medicine. And I worked in an emergency room as an emergency department technician back when I was in high school for a few years. So I know the basics, basically. At least I know the basics 30 years ago, but they still apply even now. So I wanted to talk about some tools that you could use when you are leaving your house that in general can keep you safe, right? And we've heard a lot of people talk about, well, latex gloves and masks and this and that. But if you don't have those things, or if they're not available to you, like out here in Long Beach and Los Angeles area, you can't get those things anymore. So if you don't have them, what can you do? Well, the first thing that you can do, and you may have heard this, is don't touch your face under any circumstances, unless you're at home and you've just washed your hands thoroughly. Don't touch your face. The other thing that you can do is dedicate one side of your body to your interactions with the rest of the world, and one side of your body to the interactions with yourself. So whenever I'm out, if I don't, or even if I have gloves, or even if I have a mask, but whenever I'm out, and this is something I learned in the emergency room, you pick, right? I pick the right side of my body will be the side of my body that I interact with the rest of the world. So when I'm out and about, this hand goes in the pocket. This hand will, grab things, touch things that other people have touched, and all of those things. But this hand stays in my pocket. Then, when it's time for me to interact with myself, this hand goes behind my back because you don't want to put it in your pocket. And this hand I use to interact with my body, with myself, right? Now, it's not foolproof, so you still don't want to touch your face, but at least it can generally help. And then, of course, always wash your hands. And, of course, when you wash your hands, I know they say 20 seconds, but it's not just like this, right? When you wash your hands, you first go like this, then you rub like this, and then like this, and then like this, right? Using your fingers to wash the insides of your fingers. And then, after that, you do this, and you scrub this way, and then you do this, and you scrub this way, and after you do that, then you do your thumbs, just like this. After you do your thumbs, you take your hands and in the inside of your palm, you rub, right? And then you do the same thing here, right? And that generally, if you sing happy birthday twice while you're doing this, that will be enough. And this is to try and help scrub out any dirt in between your fingertips. You may want to rub, or make sure your nails are cut. My nails aren't cut right now. Or if not, make sure you wash underneath those too. I know it seems obsessive to do all of this, but let's be honest. If the emergency rooms and the ICU beds and the hospitals are overflowing, the last thing that we want to do is be in need of them, right? So that's the main thing that you want to think about, is that you don't want to be put in a position where you need an ICU bed or you need the hospital and they're completely overrun. That would not be what would be healthy for you. So the first thing is to start nurturing and caring for yourself in the recovery process in those ways, right? Is make sure that you create a routine for when you're interacting with the rest of the world, and keep yourself clean as best as you can. Interact only with one side of your body with the environment and the other side of your body with things that are for you. So for example, my cell phone goes with my left part. My keys, those actually go on the right because they interact with everything else, right? And so those need to be disinfected every time I come home. My cell phone gets disinfected once a day regardless. Now, what do? Here we are, we're addicts, and we're locked up in our house. Maybe we're feeling very alone, overwhelmed, isolated, scared. The first thing that we need to do is create routine. I've had my nose in the research because I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and although I'm not working as a therapist right now, I work with a lot of clients right now, and we're doing all telemedicine. And people are getting overwhelmed. They're terrified, and they're feeling cabin fever, and they're feeling isolated and alone. And I'm sure you're no different. And in fact, I know you're no different because that's part of being human. And it's, especially when we're addicts and we're used to cultivating a community of support, at least if we're well into our recovery. And if we're not well into our recovery and we're struggling with addiction, then we're really feeling alone and isolated, and like there's no hope. Which reminds me, I'm going to have a gentleman by the name of Aaron Choi on. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it because he's in San Francisco, but he is the head of a company called Coach for Recovery. It's Coach and then the number 4 recovery.com. And they do all online recovery coaching in a subscription-based model. It's really cool. And I thought that it's not like therapy, where, because let's face it, therapy is expensive, right? And I'm not saying it's cheap, but it's at least less than therapy, and it can be a coaching person. So we'll have him on eventually. You just have to figure out the technical aspects. Okay. So that being said, I've had my nose in the research, and I've really been reading a lot of what people do when they're in isolation, and how do they maintain their mental health in isolation. And the first thing that is so important is routine. Let me say that again. The thing that is so important, everyone, all of you guys, is routine. We have to create a routine. One of the areas of recovery is, like we've talked about, is routine. So you want to still keep your wake-up time. My wake-up time is still 7 a.m. You still want to, when you wake up, take your shower. You do everything like you were normally doing in your routine of work. Now, maybe you're not working right now, and that's okay. We'll talk about that. But if you are working, then you get up in the morning just like you were going to go to work. Only now you have an opportunity, because now, instead of your commute time, which for me was an hour each way, now you have meditation time. So fill that commute time with meditation, right? And let's face it, we all had commute time unless we were working from home before. And if we were working from before, do what you normally do. So you can use that time for meditation, that commute time. Then after you do your meditation, you start doing your work. Now, if you're not doing work, or if you're not in work, that's okay. What you can start to do is you can start to do things like read. You can spend that time doing things, I'm sure all of us will have very clean houses, right? Hopefully. Right. So you can find those things that you've always wanted to do and start to do them. If we start to construct a mind story here that this is a time for opportunity, although it is tragic, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not very painful what's going on, but it's a time for opportunity for us to start to relate to our living environment in a way that we've hoped to but haven't been able to in the past, right? So we start reading, we start nurturing ourselves that way, we start cleaning, and we don't have to clean everything, we don't have to read everything in a day. We spend an hour or two doing one activity, then we switch to another activity, then we switch to another activity. And yeah, you schedule it out. So at night when you get ready to go to bed and you're getting set up, you take a calendar or you take a piece of paper and a pen and you write out what your schedule is going to be tomorrow, right? This is essential for your mental health. Routine is essential when you're in isolation for mental health, regardless of whether you're an addict or not. And remember, as an addict in recovery, when we start doing our healthy behaviors, what we're actually doing is we're doing those things that are mentally healthy for us, right? That are loving and nurturing for ourselves. When we're in isolation, when we're isolated in our homes, it's even more critical to do those, right? It's even more important to move into those healthy behaviors. So that's what we do. We create the routine and then we implement the routine. And what we're actually doing here, what I'm actually doing here is what at Mindful Centers, my treatment center, what we talk about is, when we talk to clients, is about a POA, a plan of action, or a POA. And a POA is really just that, right? It's a plan of action. You look at the situation, you assess it, you find the healthiest way to relate to it, and then you implement that plan. And so that's what we do. And we start doing that. And we do that, through these different things. So we shower, we sleep normal, we shower, we get up, we meditate, we start to do a few activities, whatever those are, reading, cleaning, whatever it is. Then, right, if you aren't working right now, great. Now you can exercise. Remember all those times that you said when you watched the videos of me talking about exercise and routine, and your mind told you, I can't do any of that. Well, now you have the time, right? So that's what you do, right? And you utilize that time. So I'm not a exercise expert. I will be honest, because our gyms are closed, we've ordered a treadmill. I'm not saying you have to order a treadmill, but I love to run. It's important to me. So we went ahead and did that. I don't know if we'll be able to get it, because what I realized when I ordered it is that absolutely everybody is ordering treadmills and workout equipment for the home right now. So they're really backlogged. But we'll see. If I can't, then I won't film me running. I'll film me doing some other exercise activities. And these would be exercise activities that I would do that are good for me. I'm not saying you have to do them. But hey, I'll put the content out there, and maybe it can be an inspiration. Of course, don't do it if you're worried about injuring yourself or anything like that, right? This is just me doing my thing, and maybe it will help other people do their thing for recovery. So, essentially what I'm sharing with you right now is that we need to do healthy behaviors even more urgently than before. For people who are quote unquote normies, as they say in 12-step, for people who don't struggle with addiction, it's important for them to start to do these activities, right? As addicts in recovery, we've started to learn how to do these activities already. Now it's even more important that we do them. And in that way, I would say that we are a little, as addicts in recovery, we're a little ahead of the game, because we have a direction. We already know what healthy behaviors are, right? We're learning what those 8 domains of recovery are. Routine, right? Sleeping, our relationship to routine, our relationship to sleeping, our relationship to work, our livelihood, which is something that we can we don't have to worry about right now, per se. A relationship to money, which right now I'm sure if you're not working, money is a big pressure. And we'll talk about how to work with that. Maybe that will be in the next session or so. What I'm trying to point out here is that this, for now, is our new reality. And mental health is about, as M. Scott Peck said, mental health is about the absolute commitment to reality, no matter what the cost. This is our reality, and we will make it through it. We just need to do so one moment, one breath, and one activity at a time, right? It's about focus, time, and patience, as wonderful coach and guide Mari Lee always teaches me from Growth Counseling Services, right? So focus, patience, and time is what we're going to do. And we're going to create our POA tonight. And then we're going to come back and we're going to start to implement that routine. And that doesn't mean that if you feel like you want to take a nap, that you don't take a nap in the daytime. If you're not working and you have the extra time, maybe you do that. That's okay. So it's not about being rigid. It's about being gently, compassionately focused and patient. The last thing that I want to leave with you today as we wrap up is reaching out to people. Now, we are so lucky in today's day and age. You know, when I was younger, dating myself, you know, the only video phones that there were on the Jetsons cartoon. Now we have FaceTime, we have Google Meetup, we have Zoom, all of these things. So we need to take social time just like we did before. So to plan that in where you start video chatting with people and talking to people and connecting in those ways, right? There's lots of people in their houses right now with nothing to do. So they're in your situation just like we all are. So you reach out to them and you make that effort to connect. It's not about you hoping that other people will reach out to you. You reach out to other people in recovery. Now, this is a caution. For those of us who have struggled with sex addiction or video streaming, you want to be cautious about this. The only people you need be video chatting with are people who are also in recovery. If you feel triggered to video chat with people who aren't in recovery, then you need to talk to a sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor, attend a virtual meeting, an online meeting, and get a sponsor, right? There's no excuses. There's no need for us to act out now. Yes, it's an urgent time. Yes, it's scary. However, with time, focus, and patience and compassion, we're going to make it through this. And we're going to stay healthy, and we're not going to overburden our medical providers and the hospitals. Okay? So, be gentle with yourselves. Be safe. And I look forward to hopefully having these conversations with you more. Please remember to like this video, to subscribe and hit your little bell notification. If you need a 12-step meeting, put something in the comments and we'll connect you to a virtual 12-step meeting. Okay? Thank you so much. Be gentle with yourselves and I'll see you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.